Good afternoon, everybody. Another fine afternoon for some good training. Today, we are going to talk about another, in case you missed it, episode, so to speak, of the Great Collaboration, which was a couple weeks ago. And we're going to be doing this over the next probably a couple months, in regards to carriers, speakers, technology, and just want to give a quick shout out before Juan gets started here about the technology you're going to see here today. Um, Annuities Genius is something that I was introduced to that has changed the trajectory of how I sell annuities today. This software and technology is so simple and crucial, I would say, from that standpoint. Now, we were able to take one of my agents had an annuity opportunity. So, client was actually taking income from a forethought or global Atlantic policy that was sold a few years ago. And we just looked to see if there's anything better out there because client was complaining a little bit. And we did. We came across National Western Life, which probably no one has ever heard of, and was able to reposition those assets over to their product. And it was $1 million rollover. So the agent and his business partner split $60,000 just because we had an opportunity to check the software, check the industry, and see if there's something we could do better. So, um, very happy to have Juan on today to show you guys the value proposition of what you can use with Annuities Genius. And because I already purchased the expensive seat, I have the ability to provide a special value for you guys to get this software as well. So we'll talk about that in the latter part. I don't want to take any more time up. So Juan, feel free to take over. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Phil. Yeah, so kind of going off of what Phil's saying, I think a lot of what sets what you're about to see on the platform apart is just the ability to build transparency with the consumer by being able to share your screen and then have them visually see for themselves all of the products and all of the carriers. That way, their options aren't limited to, the top products over here, or maybe your IMO wants you to sell a specific product. We build full transparency. That way, they can see again the products for themselves. And then you, as the producer, can share all of your offerings, either for income and or accumulation. So I'm going to basically focus on those two um, specifically on the platform. So that's kind of be the key of all the entire walkthrough is just focusing on breaking down the income side and then focusing on breaking down the accumulation and then touching on other resources that you could use to basically enhance your sales process. So let me share my screen with you all. Let me know when everybody is able to see it. I think we should be good.
Yep,
So
can see it.
cool. So I'm gonna use my client Max Crosby here. Um, Max is in the state of Nevada. He has 300,000 coming from a qualified IRA account, and let's suppose he is 60 years old. So initially on the dashboard, we have a couple quick, like one click aways. So here you'll have all of your annuity calculators. So depending on if you're looking for income or accumulation, if you browse through these calculators, it's basically a one click. That way you're directly into the tool. This will make a lot more sense once you're in the system. That way you can um, kind of see for yourselves the options and kind of the differences between the income and the accumulation side. On the bottom right hand side, you'll have any upcoming rate changes or any upcoming rate updates. So we basically are, I would say, pretty on top of all of the rate changes and updates. We focus primarily on that side, ensuring that our data is, I want to say 100% accurate, but obviously there can be some mistakes sometimes. So you'll have any product or rate updates there. And then here at the top is where we have our blue tabs. So each tab has a small drop down. I'll try to go into each of these tabs, but primarily focus again on the accumulation and the income side because ultimately that's what annuities come down to. So here you have your clients tab, which I'll touch on in just a sec. We have our annuity marketplace. So think of like a bird's eye view of the entire market. So fixed index annuities, you have fixed annuities, MIGAs, SPIAs in there as well. Our calculators tab is designed to again section off the accumulation income. If you want to leave a legacy, we also have a cool death benefit calculator that I'll touch on kind of on the back half of the presentation. We have our illustrations as well. So we have our index illustrator and our fixed illustrators on here. And then these two are meant for more of kind of like Phil's access. And then this intelligence is our carrier partners that can see kind of like the inside scoop of everything that goes on into the platform. So without further ado, let's break down the income side. So let's say Max tells me that he has 300,000 that he can move into an annuity and he wants guaranteed lifetime income. So all I'd have to do is go into the annuity calculators, hit income rider calculator, and everything is so simple on this platform. I want to say once you get really good at using it, it's pretty much one click away. So just to kind of point a couple of things out, on the left-hand side, you'll have filters. So anything from rating, bonuses, surrender years is going to be on the left. And then at the top, you have rider features. So here you have anything from performance driven, increasing income, enhanced payments. If they're looking for like no income reduction or maybe no rider fees, or they're looking for something like a death benefit, or I should say long-term care like a nursing home, that's going to be on the enhanced payments here. So it gives you a small little description on what this rider means. Now is where we get to the really interesting part. So here, since my client is currently 60 years old, let's say he tells me he wants income to start at age, let's say around 70. So then once you move the deferral bar over, here the platform is going to give you a list of different annuities to choose from. So kind of like what Phil was mentioning about how his producers were able to find a better annuity from the original one that the client had. Same thing would apply here. So if they have an existing annuity, you can figure out to see if maybe one of these could be a better a better fit for them, or if they just want to roll money into this annuity. You'll see all of the options here. So they're ranked in the order of the highest guaranteed annual income. So you'll see this Delaware Life True Path income gives you about 50,000 from a 10-year deferral and 300,000 initial premium. And so a lot of our top guys that are using the system and have been with us for over 5 years are actually using this as like their form of presentation. So the way their system is built out is they have to incorporate Annuities Genius as a part of their sales process. And it's helped them out tremendously because it builds trust with the consumer and it gives them that extra vote of confidence when they're going to present to these clients. So you'll see all of the carriers here on the left, the guarantees on the right, and you can scroll through all of these. You could add filters such as bonuses. Let's say you don't want any B++ rated companies, you can filter out all of those options as well. And then through here, let's say I want to compare really any three annuities. You can click any three products. You'll hit download report here. And then you're going to want to download this side-by-side comparison. So once we hit download comparison here, this report I would encourage you to show to a client as well. So what I'm going to show you right now is a side-by-side as far as income projections. So here I have my report. It'll have your logo to the top left, your name and email to the top right. And then as you scroll down, it'll capture your client's info at the top, and then the three carriers you selected. So I have Delaware Life, I have Nationwide, and Midland. And so as I scroll down just a bit further, here I'm doing a side-by-side comparison on what year would be best to start taking income. So you'll notice that if I were to take income at age 63, this Nationwide product would offer me $25,000 as opposed to these other two options here. This one barely beats out the Midland, but it shows you in green that this specific product from ages 63 to 68 offers you a higher guaranteed lifetime income. Now, not just that, but let's say your client is sold on maybe this nation, or I should say maybe this Delaware Life since it offers the highest income. All you'd have to do is click these three little dots and then hit illustrate. So if you are someone who likes to generally sell off of illustrations, you can pull up the illustrator and show them how much their guarantees would be every single year for as long as they live and what their death benefit would be as well. So you'll have all of this information on there. You could go into the hypotheticals. So based off of past performing indices, which I'll go into in just a sec, I'll touch it on more on the accumulation side. That way we can diversify the indices through the annuity, and then you can see the actual rates of returns, assuming the past 10-year performance applies to the next 10 years. So as we scroll down here, you'll have your annual effective rate of return. Here is a hypothetical comparison against the S&P. And then just below that, we capture all of the annuity details. So this is basically like a holistic summary of this actual product. So it goes into all of the little details, surrender charge schedule, rider fees, and then charts and graphs for the indices we selected. So again, I'll touch on the indices more on the accumulation side because I think for guaranteed lifetime income, it's not really like a huge deal. But let me jump out of here. Similarly, on these three little dots, you can browse the annuity info. So if you're looking for general information about this product, maybe you're unfamiliar with it, you could go into here. You could look at the highlights, the state availability, purchases, what you need as far as premiums, your surrender charge schedule, your withdrawals, and then all of your accounts will be in here as well. So you'll have past performances depending on the actual index. So if it's been around for a while, you'll see the performance change. You have rider fees, variations, and then if you wanted like the brochure directly from the platform, you can click it here, and then this we get directly from carrier. So let me jump
Hey,
out
can
of
you
this.
go, as I say, can you go back to the indexes for a second there in that little capture? No, the annuity info. So like right there, even showing the 10 years rate lock in, so they can't change the par rates, or caps if some people had caps. It's always good to kind of show some of that stuff. And I know you're probably going to show it, but the live 10, 15, and 20-year returns, stuff like that. It's just amazing. So I'll stop gushing, let you continue, but just seeing stuff like that can create a vote of confidence for you as a producer as well when you're showing this to the clients.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then they start asking more questions too. So once you start showing them this, they'll begin engaging a little more, hopefully opening up to moving either their existing annuity or their money into this annuity here. But let me go ahead and jump into the accumulation. So for the accumulation, we're going to be focusing in this section. So income pretty much solved. If you want to do single premium, you can do the SPIAs here. Um, yeah, you just click the SPIA calculator. I'm so sorry, I drew a blank. You click the SPIA calculator, and then from there plug in all of the information, and then it'll give you all of the rates and stuff. So then through here, let's go on the accumulation side. So if we click the performance analyzer, and here you'll have all of the annuity filters on the left-hand side. So if you're looking for a specific annuity or a carrier, you can click it here. So let me kind of scroll through this level of detail. So let's say you want to focus on like the top annuity from each carrier. You can click this drop down and it's going to focus on that. If you wanted to do, let's say, no fees as far as account fees and then no rider fees as well, you can filter out all of the annuities. So now the platform's already filtering out based off of the criteria you're adding. Let's say I want a cap of at least greater than 10%. So then here you'll have caps greater than 10%. Let's say I want a par rate of something at least greater than 100%. So now you're looking at products with a 10% cap or higher and then a par rate of 150% or higher. I'm sorry, 100% or higher. Now down here we have indices, averaging types, reset periods. I'll touch on this in just a sec. But through here, you can already see the platform is giving us a list of different options as far as the crediting strategy from some of the top performing annuity options. Now, something to be mindful of is that you'll see here on the columns tab, We have our sort by. So you can sort by 10 years, 15 years, or 20 years. Now, when you're sorting through this, you can see the actual most recent performance from this 5-year Invesco QQQ from what is set to be the most recent 10 years. Now, something to keep in mind though is that sometimes these indices have not been live for 10 years. So to assume a 19.27 when an index has been around for, let's check this one. So this product got launched 2 months ago. So there's no true back-tested history as far as how this will perform in the next 10 years because it just went live 2 months ago. So what you can do is you can hit this live only button and you could exclude index options that are not at least 10 years old.
I think that's huge, especially nowadays when you want to talk about the true support that you're giving a customer. You want to make sure that they're going to give you exactly what you're looking for, especially in this highly like non-regulated but regulated type of products. Everyone's looking for that type of strong return, but on the same token is how can you effectively show it to people? And that's why I love that live only because it's a huge deal when you're dealing with people's money. So that's important. Just want to overemphasize it, shake up your smooth conversation with my monotoneness. So again, carry on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so
You're
then
welcome.
now you'll see that that specific product got filtered out. And through here, now I'm looking at I can at least say I'm looking at all of these products that are at least 10 years old or indices that are at least 10 years old. But I noticed like a 5-year reset here, a 10-year reset here, and a couple or a 1 year here, a 1 year here. If you wanted to just do like annual reset periods, on the left, bottom left, you'll have the reset periods button. You can just click annual. And then when you scroll back up to the top, now this 1 year NASDAQ point to point cap, if I click these three dots and I go to index performance, I could see this one got launched in 1985. So I have a lot of data to work with. So you can do more detailed research, and I'll show you how you can do that in just a sec. But I'm going to use this Ocean View product for an example. Again, the annuity info is here. So all of your accounts will be here. And you can see, so this one is a really good example. So since this 1 year NASDAQ point to point has been around for a while, we capture the most recent 3 year period as far as change in caps and rates. And you'll see that for all of the accounts here. So participation rate as well. Now let me jump into the illustration and I'll show you how you can diversify the allocation. So let's say I do want to stick with the 1 year NASDAQ, but I want to do a blend with other different indices. At the top, you'll have this allocations tab. And then through here, the platform does a really good job as far as helping those who are a little bit newer. If you already kind of know which ones you want to diversify it in, you could go in here, look over the accounts, and then do kind of like a manual blend. Or at the top, the platform could give you a list of different diversifications. So let's say I want to just do a general blend of 6 of the top performing indices. If you click this diversify button, it's going to do that for you. So I've already diversified this annuity here, realizing me an 8.53% annual rate of return. So once you hit next step, you could add any withdrawal. So let's say at a certain age they want to take a 10% withdrawal, you can put that in there. Or if they want to take their RMDs, you can add that in there as well. Now when you hit next step, here I have all of my different accounts. So I have the 1 year S&P, 1 year NASDAQ, 1 year Russell. So it kind of flips now. On the income side, we saw the guarantees and the annual withdrawals and how much it would be. But here you don't really see much change because there's no index. So your beginning contract value won't change much. However, for the hypotheticals, here you'll see what your credited interest rate would be. So here is our start age. Now, if we assume the most recent 10-year performance and apply that to the next 10 years, we could say that around age 70, our account will have gone from 300,000 to 682. So you can scroll down, see the performance, and then at the very bottom is where you'll have your annual effective rate of return. And then just below that, you have a hypothetical comparison against the S&P. Now, if I
Do they
scroll
just
down,
now just real quick, if I could ask a question,
mhm.
um, is the 10-year copy now some carriers will do 10-year, like Athene will do a 10-year back test. Some do 15 or 20 when they do their hypotheticals. Do you guys pick that up from the carrier, or do you guys use your own methodology from the 10-year, back test? Because I see here it's 10 years for Harbor, but I just didn't know if it was different per carrier because I know some people have a different methodology.
Usually we will just go off of the index and we'll pick the most recent 10-year period.
Okay.
Just because, yeah, I would say most of, or at least from what I know, most of the carriers go off of the 10-year. So
Yep.
that's kind of what we align with. But
Okay. Yeah.
I'll ask
I
though.
just want
I'll
to make sure.
ask. Definitely ask.
Yeah, it never hurts.
Perfect. So then let me jump back into the illustration. And here is kind of what we went into for the income side. So it gives you like a general summary. And then just below that, you'll have charts and graphs for all of the indices. So you can see how they've been performing. You can see the highest period, lowest period, and then the most recent period. And then obviously all of the different indices here. Let me jump back out of this. So that'll kind of give you an overview of like the performances for these indices on the accumulation side. The index tracker is one I wanted to touch on as well. So here you can browse all of the indices and how they've been performing. So you'll see on the far right we have the inception, and this one went live in 2000. Since 2000, it's had an annual rate of return of 10.05. And so you can see all of this through here. Let me just choose a more recent one. So if I'm looking at this S&P Market Agility, it went live last year in February. Since then, it's performed at a negative 0.53. So this is a really, really cool tool to do research as far as how you're going to diversify the indices when you're looking at the allocations. And let's say you wanted to go with like a city flexible here. You can click on the accounts button and it's going to redirect you to all of the products that offer this city flexible. So let me jump back out of that. This is going to be there for you. On the calculator side, the death benefit's really, really cool too. So you could assume, let's say life expectancy until, my client's 60 years old, so let's assume he's going to live to around 86. So once you've done that, it's going to give you the highest paying death benefit, and it'll show you as far as guarantees here.
Can you go back and show us one more time? Where did you see the life insurance thing?
One more time was the,
The
The
calculator.
life
How'd you get
insurance.
back to that?
oh yeah, yeah, the legacy here.
Oh, okay, thank you.
hmm Yeah, it's going to be this death benefit one. So in the calculators tab, death benefit, and then all you really have to do is move this over,
Yeah,
and it'll
Aziz,
show you.
it's gonna be the death benefit on the annuity, so it's not a life insurance calculator,
hmm
just for clarification's sake.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks, Phil.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
So if it's a qualified fund, there's still going to be tax under that benefit, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Perfect. So let me jump into let me touch on the annuity marketplace and then I'll go over kind of like the client section just to give you guys like an overview on that. So this market snapshot, kind of like a bird's eye view, what I was mentioning earlier. So it gives you kind of like some top performing accounts. So you have your lifetime income. If you started income immediately, it gives you Pruco. If you waited 3 years, Delaware Life, and 5 years, Eagle Life will perform better. So it gives you kind of some quick quotes and analysis. Here we have the index point to point rates. So it gives you the highest par rate, highest cap rate, and then highest performance triggered. And then you have your fixed rate, so 3 year period, 5 year, and then a 7 year. So you can browse those. And then your index performers. So it's just going to give you kind of like the top performing indices. So if you, let's say the iShare Goals has been killing it, if you click into this, it'll redirect you into the products that have that iShares Gold. So it's a cool way to kind of just jump from one tool to another. This is a perfect segue to go into the FIA section. So here, let me go ahead and take off the filters. Let's say you just wanted to do some quick research on FIAs. And then from there, you wanted to add a couple different filters. So let's say I'm going to add a filter of at least A-rated higher, carrier, or higher. And then let's say I wanted to add a filter on the index. So let's say I want to use the strictly the S&P. So I'm going to click apply, and then it's going to filter out all of the carriers and all of the different products that offer the S&P. From there, you can go more in detail as far as like a 1 year reset. Um, let's say you want to see the one with the highest cap. On the right over here, you have your sort by, and then you can click cap. So then once you've done that, you'll see this Proof Secure has a 65% cap, 9.98 rate of return, 5 year S&P point-to-point cap. So it's a good way to do quick research if you're looking for an immediate product. MIGA section's really, really cool because if you're looking for like a 5 year MIGA, a 3 year MIGA, you could plug it in. Let's say I want to do a 3 year, hit apply, and you'll see the highest rate of return here. So Wichita National, 6%. And then what's cool is that after the 3 year period here, this is what my total earnings would be from the 300,000 invested. So it's a great way for the client to see kind of what their earnings would be after the 3 year period. You can do that for a 5 year, 7 year. That's going to be in here. Traditional fix, it's almost pretty much set up similar to like the MIGAs. So it'll basically just give you your guaranteed rates. You can sort by kind of any changes you want to add. And then let's see, let me jump back into the dashboard. So we've touched on the income, we've touched on the accumulation, we've touched on the market overview as far as the annuity marketplace and how you can position yourselves from the FIAs to the MIGAs. Now, as far as your client section, so here we have like a small CRM built out because when you're working with your clients, it's kind of hard to go from the Genius and then plug the client info into a CRM and then have to move the information back into the platform. Here, we've kind of already built it out for you. So it's not the most robust CRM, but it does do enough as far as capturing all of the information from the client. So here I'm going to go into, let's say, Sean. And any information as far as notes that I leave for Sean is going to be located here. Any upcoming tasks that I have, I can create a little subject for. So let's say I want to look over income annuities, and then we're going to add this task due next week. Repeat every week. So then you could add that in there, hit save, and it's going to have had those tasks there. And then here it kind of just gives you like a quick immediate search for any annuities you're looking for. And then we have a cool retirement freedom questionnaire. So if you are a little bit newer to selling annuities, I would encourage you to maybe start using the retirement freedom questionnaire just because it is a helpful tool to position the client with the right questions to ask if you are a little bit newer. And the risk analyzer does basically just analyzes how susceptible your client is to risk. And then for compliance reasons, we record keep and store everything as far as any movement you do in the platform. So if I go into my client Max Crosby and I click on details, you'll see here that I've looked at top income writers for my client. 7 months ago, I ran the annuity navigator, and then 7 months ago, I did another income scenario here.
I think the cool thing with that too, when you talk about the CRM, I was just playing around with it a while ago, and you can integrate it onto your website. So if those of you have a website that you want to utilize, you could say click here to learn more about, guaranteed income or things like that. And then it'll say you'll go through a couple clicks and then it'll say, if you want to talk to someone, click here. And yeah, so after you go through to get the annuity rates, just clicking through it real quick, whatever. So if you scroll down, use professional help, you click on that, you enter your information in, and what will happen is the mobile phone number, you can start texting from your phone through the CRM to the client and back to you. So you don't have to be at your computer to manage your CRM. If someone needs to get a hold of you, it'll go through the system and you have the ability to connect with them to see if there's an opportunity to maximize right off the bat. And I think that's one of the really, really cool things there. Like, and you can brand it. So like Juan has juan.annuitygenius.com. Mine is valorfs.annuitiesgenius.com. So there's different things that you can do from that standpoint to really enhance your story if you're a Facebook marketer, from that end to get it out there for people to see, because people like to shop, see what they can potentially get, and then the whole goal is to get to you and get to your opportunities. So highly, highly recommend even using that CRM side. It's a great, great tool.
Yeah, so this is the landing page that Phil was kind of just talking about. But if you wanted to add this onto your website, you could click this link here and or actually you could just copy this link and then add it into your website. So I know a couple of our guys are actually like they have their own built out website, but they want to add like, hey, run your own quick quote. So they'll cover the link up with like a button, and then from there, a consumer could go in there and play around with it, run their own quick quote, leave their contact information there for you. Through here as well. So I was touching on the retirement freedom questionnaire. So that questionnaire is really, really powerful, especially if you're a little bit newer, because it asks all the right questions. And then at the end, what it does is it takes your assets, or I should say the client's assets, and then it shows them how reallocating some of their assets that could be at market risk into an annuity could bring them either lifetime income or accumulation. The Annuity Navigator, also strongly recommend if you are a little bit newer, because this navigator does everything that I just did in this entire presentation in like 5 minutes. So what it does is it starts the consumer out with a video. So here, if you don't have a presentation built out as far as explaining what annuities are, how they work, you can have the consumer watch this 7 minute video. And so let's say I'm talking to all of you and I'm trying to sell everybody in this call an annuity. So I'm gonna play the 7 minute video. It's gonna talk about how your assets could be at market risk, and then it gives you some facts about how people beyond retirement are still working. So 30% will turn to their families for help, 19% of retirement age Americans are still working, and 5% of retirement age Americans are forced to work until the day they die. So then as you're going through this video, or I should say as the client's going through this video, they can see the kind of downfalls as far as their investments. And a lot of times, let's say with like a market correction of 20%, you would need just about a 40% recovery gain to break even. And a lot of people, especially at around ages 60 to 65, don't have that kind of time. So this is a great way to position that as far as the video. And then here it gives you the solution. So what is the solution? An annuity. And then it goes into basically like your annuities 101. So it gives you like an entire crash course on annuities. What does it offer? How do they work? What are the differences of the annuities? And so once they've reached the very end of this 7 minute video, now you can position, okay, so based off of what you saw, do you think lifetime income would be more fitting, or do you think accumulation would be more fitting? Let's say they want to go with lifetime income. Here, if you're brand new, you don't really know how you don't have to know how to sell an annuity. All you have to do is follow these steps, and trust me, it does a really good job as far as holding your hand and the consumer's hand. So here it says please select the initial premium amount. Let's say I want to select 300,000, but let's also assume I don't know what I'm doing. So then all you really have to do is read the little excerpt that we leave here for you and ask the consumer these questions. Typically, experts recommend allocating 20 to 40% of your retirement savings into annuities. Boom. Let's do 300,000. Hit next step. What are your contribution plans to your annuity account? You either want to move money once or you want to add money later down the line. Let's say I just want to move money one time. Hit next step. I'm already on step 4 of 8. So here, who would you like to cover for a lifetime income? Let's just say Max is single. He's going to go with single male. And then at what age would you like to start lifetime income? Pretty self-explanatory, but we still give you this small text here just in case the client doesn't know when to start. So let's say that he wants to start at around age 65. Hit next step, and then select the income strategy that fits you best. So do you want something that's guaranteed, won't go up or down? Or do you want something that is still guaranteed but has the chance of going a lot higher than something that's 100% guaranteed? Let's say Max wants to take the risk since he's in Vegas. So we'll hit increasing income, hit next step, and then here we have the lowest company rating you would accept. So let's say Max wants to do at least an A minus or higher. And what you'll see on the left-hand side is our annuity products began narrowing down. So I started with 171. Now I'm down to 31. But what the platform is going to do is it's going to take the top 3 from the 31 that are here left over. So A minus rating, hit next step. From here, I just started selling annuities yesterday, but I'm about to sell Max Crosby, who is the best NFL player in the world, an annuity. So it's filtering out all of the annuity options. It's going to give me the top 3, and boom. Everything I did in about 30 minutes, I have just done in about 3 minutes. So you'll see the F&G product here, Allianz and Athene, and it gives you all of the information as far as the income type, when you would want to start income. It has everything laid out there for you. Any questions so far over anything I've gone over? I apologize if I didn't stop in between ask, but
I think,
everyone's good? Cool.
yeah, the big thing too with that is because when you hit explore all options, it just brings you back to the other pages and the stuff that you showed in case some people have favorites,
Hmm.
and so in case your favorite's not the top three, you can see how far out are you, right? From that standpoint. Or if, let's say, you're not a fan of F&G and you want to go with option number 2, which I forget who it was, but it was a 7 year. So say
It was Allianz.
Hmm.
Allianz. Okay. So say for example's sake, you wanted a 10 year because it's going to give you the same income, but a 10 year yields a higher, you know, value for the producer if the client's okay with it, of course. Um, underline. Maybe they're okay with a 10 year because they're going to take income, 5 years out or so, and it doesn't really matter to them, but it matters to you. So exploring other options just to see if your favorite is close to. But in this case, you look at the monthly income, that's the floor, right? One, that's the
Hmm.
floor. So landslide victory from the floor side, and now you have upside, potential as well. But once again, if you love Allianz's, you know, indices more than the safe income advantage, then it's completely up to you as the financial professional to look at all that. But this gives you everything real quick and dirty, and might not even be a carrier you even thought of. That's the big thing. So again, for those who came in late, one of the big things that I can't overemphasize is we looked at this income scenario with a guy who was taking income from Global from a policy that was like 3 or 4 years old. And with some of the bonuses and everything, we were able to get him more income and move $1 million from them to National Western Life. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do from your end just by just analyzing, even if it's a policy review, seeing if it's still kosher, if the needs have changed, but you can do it real quick here and just make sure that everything's on the up and up. But if there's another opportunity, why not go for it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think you hit the nail right on the head with that one.
Thank
Um,
you.
let me jump back into the dashboard. But yeah, if you have any additional questions, you're more than welcome to not only give us a call, but we also have training videos. So if you're using a tool, let's say like the lifetime income, and you go into training here, we have videos for pretty much everything built out in the system. So from setting up your profile to setting up the products that you can offer to adding your own logo to adding your own profile picture on there, you'll have videos in here for you. Now, let's say you're running a scenario and for some reason the platform's just giving you a really hard time. You can call our number directly. So if you go into our website, you can call this number here, and somebody will be there to answer your questions and go into anything related to what you're working on. We try our very best to help you, but sometimes um, there's a line we can't step over as far as helping you pick which products and stuff like that. But
Give me
yeah,
the
if you have
best
any
indices,
questions,
Juan. Give me the best
yeah,
indices. It's your fault, not mine.
I would tell them, what is that? I don't even know what that
Yeah,
is.
relative.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, any additional questions for me? I don't know if anybody wanted to touch on anything that I didn't go over.
Rosendo.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Awesome to
Good.
see you here, Juan. Saw you at the great collaboration. It was really, really good. I didn't get a chance to talk to you too much about it, but so this all comes with everything that we have this filled. This is all in the Rise Partner
Well, that's what I
package.
was gonna say is so we have this is something that we offer. Um and if you want, I'll just steal the screen real quick,
Hmm.
Juan. So people should have gotten an email if you registered for the Great Collab. If not, we sent this out to everybody, agents, agencies, and financial advisors. Annuity Genius unlock big savings on incredible insurance tools. I'll put that in the chat. What it does is just fill out your information. But what I like to say to people is what you typically have with Annuities Genius is I like to say that we can offer because I bought a main license and the main seats, and so what we find is that the normal price is about 250 a month for the Cadillac, if you will. Okay, the CRM, all the bells and whistles, 250 a month. They have a more cost efficient product, but it doesn't give you all the bells and whistles for about $100 a month. Well, through the strategic partnership that we have, I can provide the Cadillac for 165 a month. And so if you feel like you have that opportunity, I know it says we offer it for 150, but that was at the Great Collab. So it's 165. Um, if it says 150, I would say take it, because it might still be the 150 price, but typically it's 165. And from that standpoint, you can get the software, the tech, everything you need to make sure that you are helping your client find the best possible opportunities. Keep in mind, what I would say is that there is a filter for those of us part of the three mark umbrella to make sure that we're using the products that we have. If you unveil or take off the filter and like you see Eagle Select, that is not a carrier that we have, but I can get it from another resource. So, but I would say it's easier to just stick with what you got. Simplification is probably the best opportunity there. But this creates a very easy process for you. And from the pricing standpoint, so once again, that $1 million rollover yielded a $60,000 commission to the agent. So, and he wouldn't have had that if it wasn't for this. So when you think about the pricing for it, gotta spend money to make money. And if you're really in the annuity business, which Rosendo, I know you are, and I know several others are, this is probably a tremendous asset for you to utilize. Now, 3Mark has a I would say a watered down version of this, another carrier called Luma for the income side, but it doesn't give you the intuitiveness that this would give you. So when you talk about in the absence of value is cost, what you got on the 3Mark portal is kind of like a flip phone. This is kind of like your iPhone or your Samsung. We're not going to get into Android versus iPhone fight here today, people. But just understanding the concept of what you're getting, the bells and whistles and everything, this has truly been an asset that I've found to be extremely helpful from the standpoint of growing and increasing my brand, if you will. And I know it would do the same for you guys. So, real quick,
Sign me up. Sign me up.
good. Sign you up,
Yeah,
rock and
man.
roll, baby.
Yeah.
So, from the standpoint here, all of this information is being recorded. It will be on the line on the at Valor Financial website, where all the trainings from yesteryear, yesterday, and everywhere in between. We do 2 trainings a week, one at night, 8 p.m. Central, called Back to Basics, where you can come as you are and we talk about anything and everything, kind of like an iron sharpens iron. And then we have these more regimented trainings like what we have today with Annuities Genius. We had Insight last week, so we talk about the life insurance illustration designs to simplify multi-carrier illustrations. Next week, we have the Lotus Group coming in to talk about life settlements. So if you are unfamiliar with how life settlements work, one, a great thing to come to. Two, if you think about the situation where you have someone in their 70s who wants to sell their policy, maybe they're younger or older and are sick and are looking to just get rid of it. There's no living benefits on the product. Well, they can take your product to market and sell it, and there is a commissionable opportunity anywhere from 10 to 20% off of whatever the person gets as a sale, on their policy. So definitely worth coming to next week as well as we continue down our track of trainings and more to come from our carriers and product vendors and things like that. So any last words from your end, Juan?
No, I mean, no, I think you kind of touched on everything as far as well, there's a difference between me presenting the actual platform and then you giving your feedback on how it's helped you. So, yeah, thank you so much for adding that in there because I know that sometimes I'm raving about Annuities Genius and how great it is, and then I actually have somebody using it and then giving a real life testimonial for that. So, thank you for that, Phil.
Oh, no problem. Nothing speaks louder than a happy customer, right? Um,
Yeah.
so so that's what I say is, we always look for stuff to help people enhance their practice. And this is one of the things that I would say, like, if I canceled everything else, this is the one thing I would keep because I know how valuable it is. So, I get rid of Netflix before I get rid of the Genius. So, um, but all that being said, I want to thank you guys. If you have any questions, email me, phil@valorfs.com, or you can hit me up on my cell, 860-402-8262. But thank you again, Juan, for your time. Truly, truly appreciate the partnership and look forward to future chances where we can get you back on. So everyone else have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend. And if you choose to celebrate for the long weekend, those are what I call lazy people. No, I'm just kidding. Enjoy your long weekend, people, and we'll catch you next Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Central, or Thursday at 4 o'clock Central. Take care, guys. See you.